Today, we're going to talk about a skill that I guarantee you don't practice enough: boredom. And I have 3 reasons why you should practice boredom and why it's good for you and actually is going to allow you to do way cooler things than you are now. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it'll just be a marginal improvement. Maybe it'll have no effect. Who knows? But we won't know until we try it. So stick around to the end, and I have a little exercise for us to do together. By the way, this is day 3 of my 75 Hard YouTube Edition 2025 challenge. More information in the description. Reason number 1 for practicing boredom and just generally getting to be okay with being bored is that it allows us to kind of create some space for resisting the pull of distractions and just reducing distractions in general. I think sometimes we can just get so caught up in, just getting to work and generally just like staying busy. And that certainly has its benefits. And there's a time and place to like not stop and just keep going and really like hunker down and just get shit done. But there has to be a balance between allowing ourselves to go, and allowing some time to just like sit here and not do anything, and not look at your phone. So to kind of expand on that of what it means in the case of boredom, like specifically when you're practicing being bored, it's a matter of putting the phone down, shutting down your computer, turn the TV off, put the books away, whatever it is that could hold your attention, and just sit there. Like literally just sit there. Like have no goal or clear purpose, nothing you're working towards, or really no intention of thinking about anything either. And just deal with the fact that boredom kind of sucks. And just sit there in that feeling, in that suckiness. Just do it. See what happens. And I think in the case of distractions, this is super helpful because if you're someone like me who has a history of just, constantly checking their phone out of habit more so than anything else, like the distractions will find you and you will find the distractions. And making the space to just sit with being bored and sit with, not doing a goddamn thing is going to allow you to it's going to help you build the space to practice resisting distractions and resisting the urge to just fall into unhelpful habits. And to be clear, it's not going to fix anything, but it will certainly start to open up the space to figure out how to fix things. And because if you just keep going and you don't stop to think about where you're going, like you could end up very far off from your goal, and being bored just kind of allows you to reset. Which brings me to point number 2, which is being bored has this really weird benefit of it allows you the space and the time and the energy to actually process through certain things and begin to more clearly develop a plan and really kind of bring your priorities, your true priorities, to the surface and be able to start to act on those a little bit more effectively. And it's kind of something that I can't necessarily explain it until you actually do it. So just sitting for 5 minutes and not doing anything, it's going to suck. Sitting and doing nothing for 5 minutes isn't fun. It's not interesting. It's boring. But what it allows you to do is to be able to create some space in between the stimulus of the world and your desired response to it. And so this is not a new concept. Creating space between stimulus and response is, it's been very popular with mindfulness and all kinds of stuff. But this is just a different packaging of that. Just be bored. And you might be surprised with what kind of happens in a mental space. You might be able to plan through and process things that you otherwise wouldn't have been able to had you been inundated with distractions and had you been just consumed with whatever's in front of you instead of what's deep down telling you what's actually important. And I find for me, when I find the space to sit and be bored and just kind of not have a clear goal of what I'm doing, things that I've been thinking about start to surface not necessarily with the same kind of things that I've been grappling with, but more with like some clarity on how I can find some answers. I don't always get answers, but sometimes potential new steps or new approaches that I haven't thought about come to the surface. And once you kind of like start to be okay with being bored and be able to kind of like use it to your advantage, I would expand to thinking about maybe instead of sitting and doing nothing, sitting and having a notebook and pen or pencil, just so that like if anything does come to mind or you do start to get a moment of inspiration that like peeks through the clouds of the mess that is your mind, then you can act on that and write it down. I would just encourage you to, like, if you set an intention to like sit for 5 minutes or sit for 10 minutes or 20, whatever you want to sit for, stick with that plan. When you get inspiration, consider that just as much of a distraction from your goal of being bored right now as checking your phone. Because what can happen is we can get so tied up with like a moment of inspiration that we don't fully process why we're inspired or what the purpose or outcome would be of that inspiration until we get consumed by it and then realize we just went down a rabbit hole that we didn't really need to go down at all. The third and probably most important thing that I think being bored... Oh, see ya, buddy. Oh, big stretch. Oh, yeah, such a good boy. I don't know if you can hear the angry kitty in the background, but she's yelling at us. And so the third and probably most important benefit that being bored allows you to have... Oh, hi, baby. Look at you. So anyways, the third and probably the most important benefit that your practice of being bored can do for you is it just builds your capacity to be okay with sitting in discomfort and just generally being uncomfortable or suffering or just like not having a clear purpose or goal or whatever you want to call it. It just helps you be more okay with the fact that like this doesn't feel right, this doesn't feel good. And practicing it in a way where you're just sitting and being bored and not really doing anything is a relatively safe way to practice this, where like, some people do the whole seek discomfort thing. Shout out to Yes Theory, where sometimes the situations they get themselves into can be kind of dangerous or kind of like counterproductive to, actually building a serious skill of sitting with discomfort. And to be clear, that's not a comment on Yes Theory. I think the work that Yes Theory is doing is fantastic, and you should check out their videos if you haven't already. But really this idea that if you're okay with being uncomfortable and being bored, you're going to be able to kind of like engage with your work, with your life's purpose, whatever you want to call it. You're just going to be able to engage with anything more effectively, because like the key differentiator between those who succeed in things that are really hard and those that fail and give up is your ability to persevere through all the worst parts of it. So whether that's starting a business, whether that's doing a YouTube channel, whether that's like starting to eat healthy or get an exercise routine or drink more water or stand up for yourself at work, whatever it is that you want to do, there is a significant amount of discomfort. And there's just a significant amount of yuck that you have to deal with in order to get the outcome that you're really searching for. Like, there's really no comfortable way to learn how to be a better person. There's no comfortable way to start exercising when you haven't done that before. There's no comfortable way to start to reduce the amount of fried food that you eat. I know. And so just practicing being bored allows you the space to practice persevering through that. And so to that end, I want you to practice right now. And so if you've made it this far in the video, I'm assuming that you probably have some desire to kind of like try some of these things out. So I want to do a little experiment, and that requires the two of us to just stay connected for 1 minute. That's all I'm going to ask for, 1 minute. And I just want to sit here and practice being bored for 1 minute. And you can do this by just continuing to watch. I'm going to set a timer. And just sit here for 1 minute and see what happens. 1 minute starts now. And that's 1 minute. Nice job. Thanks for doing that with me. And that is day number 3. I will see you tomorrow for day number 4. You know, I'm trying to film a YouTube video.